Hello and welcome everybody. My name is Gabby and I'm your host today. I am wearing a long sleeved kind of navy blue leopard print top, trying to be kind of a bit winter thermal warmer. I've got large gold hooped earrings on. I have brown skin and long dark brown hair. My background is fairly neutral. I've got a beige wall behind me, and to my right or your left hand side I have a plant, because as I've mentioned before, plants make me happy, and I think they're good for you and good for your mood and morale.
I'm Dermot. I'm wearing a light blue t-shirt. I have a slightly gingery grey brown beard with brown hair and slightly greying. I'm also wearing two hairnets on my ears, and I have brown glasses with a black frame. My background is blurred because I'm in my bedroom, so just for actor privacy. And I have the typically airy, bushy eyebrows.
I'm really excited to introduce our guest for today as we continue this disability awareness campaign. So I'm really delighted to welcome Dermot Devlin, and he is a disability awareness campaigner and activist doing just amazing things for many years actually, which Dermot's going to tell us a little bit more about his journey in a second. But one of the things that Dermot did do was set up My Way Access back in 2009. So My Way Access is a recognised disabled rights and disability blog focused on ensuring disabled people have equal and inclusive rights across accessibility, services and health, which is fantastic. We're going to discuss that a bit more in a second as well. But also let's talk about some of Dermot's accolades as well. So in 2020, he was awarded the Bravery Award from Amnesty International as a UK human rights defender for Northern Ireland in recognition of the campaigning he does for disabled people. He's also been on TV quite a bit as well, on UTV and BBC TV and BBC Radio, and also worked on a documentary as well called Disability Paradox, shown on the BBC, which is all about disabled people and also mental health. And Dermot is also a prolific speaker. He speaks quite a lot, delivering talks and keynotes, including doing a TEDx as well. So I'm super excited to have him on the show today, and it must be incredibly rewarding, the work that you do, but not everybody could do it. To show up day after day, sharing your stories, the stories of others, trying to campaign to get things to change and be better for those with disabilities, does take a certain type of person. I mean, what kind of switched you on, I guess, into thinking this is something that I want to do or must do,
Well, initially when I started my website, it was just because my own frustrations, and I wanted to get them out in a constructive way and not an angry sort of let's point the finger at you way. And that seemed to resonate with people. But we can talk about more that later on within the video and the podcast. But I found that people were sort of reacted to that in a positive way. People who are disabled, as well as the business owners themselves. People have sort of reached out and said, well, I know you're just doing reviews, but I have an issue here. Could you help out? I have an issue there. Can you give me advice? Whenever I took them through that advice, I maybe did a bit of work for them back in the early days. I found that to be rewarding because, that, for want of a better word, I would leave a little mark somewhere because I'm 43 now. So I don't see myself having a partner or having children because I've just got to that age now. And most people, society says, your mark is the children that you have. So that time is probably gone for me now. Not necessarily, but, when you're in your mid-40s. But for me, this is leaving my mark in the world, not in an egotistical sense, but just that I've made somebody's life that bit easier. So that just, for me, that's my reward rather than the materialistic or the fame or the financial reward. It's just that, I've made somebody's life a little bit easier, even if it's just for one day.
Learn a bit more about My Way Access. So what it is, what its goal, purpose is, why you set it up.
Well, as I say, that whenever I got back home, I was quite angry. But, I think when you get angry at people, the way them to listen. So I just started a Facebook page and wrote about it in a not in a way like, but just like, if you're a wheelchair user, don't go here. But here's somewhere else I go that night. It was actually quite good to go there. And people commented, so I said, well, you know what, I'll put that onto a wee blog. And then the blog became the website and stuff like that. But if you go to my way access, you can register either through an email or through your Facebook account.
Mhm.
And then you can you can add different reviews for places, you know, whether it's hotels or whether it's pubs, venues. Basically, anywhere you might want to go, you can make a review. Because especially this climate and cost of living crisis and whatnot,
Yeah.
I don't want to be extra on them. I might drop them a little message and go, listen, I'm not going to put this up, but these are the issues I had, and this is what you can do to fix it. Now,
That
they
makes
don't tend
total
to get back to me, but they have been one or two go, oh, I never thought of that, and they would make a difference. But
Right.
again, like when times get better and things, you know, get back to normal again, as I say, they will start to focus a little bit more on the smaller business. I'm not talking like your granny's little shop and you've got there, but you know, something that's more local to people as well at the same time, because I think it's important to get that. But
Understood. I mean, the reason why this is so interesting is because, you know, as event planners, part of the role is sourcing venues to hold events. And generally they're in venues that do have not all events obviously held in venues that, you know, have a lot of money or big spending power, but you know, if it's big conferences or large scale events where people pay quite a high ticket price to attend, I think those venues do have a responsibility to ensure that they are accessible. And I also understand that with historical buildings that can sometimes be a challenge as well, but having something like My Way access all over the UK for, you know, popular or most used UK venues for events, etc. So people can go and it's not just for the event planners to check that the venue is accessible for booking them, but then also those who attend the event can see also whether it's going to be accessible for them. I mean, they shouldn't even necessarily have to do that. It should be like all venues are accessible for everyone. But until we get to that point, having that information, that source of information, I think is, you know, such a good idea. And you know, thank you for putting that into practice, Dermot. The Harkin Summit, which was in Belfast in June, recently won an Equality, Diversity and Inclusion at a conference at the Excellent Awards for ABPCO. You were there, you attended, you were speaking at this event. And when we first had our initial call, discussing kind of topics and ideas and getting to know each other, you actually mentioned the Harkin Summit and, you know, as a good example. Can you share a little bit more about the event and then what you spoke about at the summit?
certainly, well, the Harkin Summit was a conference set up in the US by Senator Tom Harkin. So it's basically about addressing employment issues, giving employment advice for disabled people. And given me a closing address in Parliament Building in Belfast. Because it was an unemployment event, I spoke about the employment gap between disabled and non-disabled people here in the north of Ireland. You know, because as I say, we discussed ourselves, you know, about before this, about the employment gap in the UK, which, you know, is not great.
Yeah.
And I think everybody knows that. But here, it's significantly worse.
Is it?
Now,
Then do you know the percentage, Dermot? Because I know like it's around 30% the employment gap in the UK. What?
employment rate for deaf and disabled people is the lowest of the 4 UK countries here in the north, and the disability employment gap is the largest. The employment rate here for deaf and disabled people is 38.1% compared to 80.3% for non-disabled people. This is a non-example and shameful gap of 42.2%, which is in stark contrast to other parts of these islands, where in GB the employment rate is well above 50%, and the employment gap is 26%. So you can see a huge gap here.
Yeah, it's huge, isn't it? It's huge. For, you know, most of our watchers, listeners, will be events professionals. So what do you think because it was the ICC Belfast that hosted the conference, wasn't it? What do you think the venue and also the organisers did right from an accessibility perspective that our event planners could be inspired by or consider implementing when they're actually putting on events to ensure they're accessible?
Well, I think the most important thing is, and this is something that I always advocate, is co-design. So what they did was they brought in a team of disabled people, not as tick box exercises, but actually get them in at the high level sort of planning stages from the very beginning.
Good.
Not at the end, which is significant, because a lot of places bring them in at the end and then go, oh well, it's too late now to do that.
Yeah.
They brought us in at the very beginning, and I was very lucky to be one of these people. So we were able to say, right, this needs to be done, this needs to be done, and that needs to be done. So, like, for example, one of the significant changes that was done in the ACC Belfast was already a terrific place, but we were able to say to the Harkin Summit coming here and to the venue itself, you know, the disabled people coming from all parts of the globe, all parts of the world, coming here to ACC Belfast, coming here to Belfast. This venue doesn't have changing places.
Yeah, really? Okay.
And they put it in.
Good. They wouldn't have thought about that if it wasn't for the team, though. Co-creation. That's why we need diversity in the decision-making positions. But do you know what, Dermot? Thank you so much for your time. We've actually run out of time for today, and I feel like we could have gone on and spoken for a lot longer. I'm sure we will catch up again at some point, but I think this has been a really good taster into your experience, how you're supporting other people with disabilities, how you're trying to create more awareness and more advocacy. And I think this is a good starting point for event planners to increase their knowledge in this area and start thinking and considering how they make their events more accessible. So thank you for your time and your knowledge and sharing with us.
Well, thank you for having me on. I really enjoyed this afternoon.
Good. Well, take care. Bye.
Bye.